All right, guys. So our next topic here is going to be our Bad Batch. What episode was it? Episode 5 or 6?
I think it was 7.
7. Damn, it was episode 7. I had it right here. It's episode 7. It feels like it's only been like 5 weeks of it. Damn. Either way, episode 7 of the Bad Batch. We're going to give our quick spoiler thoughts and discussion on it. Then we're going to give our top 5 most anticipated remaining entertainment events in general for the remainder of the year, rather. But I loved this episode. I thought it was good, mainly just because my boy Rex showed back up.
Yep.
Always love seeing Rex. Rex has got to be like Dave Filoni must love the Rex character, like because he popped off in Clone Wars. He's always there, one of the main characters in Clone Wars. And then he shows up again in Rebels as a main character throughout the whole thing. So spoiler alert for Rebels, I guess, if you haven't watched that. But then it was really, I was kind of bummed though, like that Rex didn't just stay with him to fill in as Crosshair's replacement.
Yeah, what else has he got going on?
Yeah, I mean, apparently he's like, it's honestly an interesting juxtaposition if you go to Rebels, because when he shows up in Rebels, he's like done fighting. Like he's not fighting the rebellion. He's not fighting the Empire. He's just out on a planet with Gregor and Wolf, and they're just living life. They're just doing their thing. And he had no intention of wanting to ever fight the Empire. Now that changes. Like literally the next episode, he just joins the rebellion, and he's there for the rest of the series for the most part, just with Ezra and everybody.
Right.
So it was weird to see that immediately after Order 66, he is just like he's still fighting. Like he's still going through his thing and he's fighting. So I'm curious, at what point does Rex decide that he does no longer want to fight and just go live in the woods or not, I guess in the desert with Gregor and Wolf? You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know if we'll ever see Rex again in the Bad Batch. I don't know how long the show's going to go. And of course, I still don't even know what the show's ultimately about.
Right.
Like, if I had one complaint for the show, because I love the show, honestly, I think it's great. I haven't disliked any episodes. Like, I think everyone in the Star Wars community kind of notoriously says that, like, I know a lot of people don't like Clone Wars, like the series and stuff like that, because they're just not into it. But most people who do like Clone Wars in general, like, unanimously say that season 4 and up is like phenomenal, and that's work that everything before that's kind of like hit and miss. And Bad Batch has not been like that for me at all. Like, I think every episode's been strong. I haven't felt like any episode was like not needed. Everything's done something for the most part. Like, some have been better than others, but I've liked every episode. I haven't had that same feeling that Clone Wars kind of gives, where I mean, it's like the first 3 seasons are like very hit and miss. Like, some episodes you just like, for instance, I just did a rewatch of Clone Wars, and I watched the first episode, and it took me like 3 weeks to want to watch it again because I hated it so much. Like, and then once I finally struggled through those first 2 seasons, it picks up in season 3. It gets pretty good, and then it gets amazing at season 4 and on. Like, it's an awesome show. So yeah, I thought this was great. Is there like, the only thing I'm worried about with this episode, because this episode ultimately is like they get they finally address the implants still being in everybody's heads. That was also, I gotta say, the only thing I thought was stupid about everything was that, like, Tech knows they're there. Tech knows the inhibitor chips are there, and at no point did they want to take them out.
Yeah, it's like smart enough to where.
Yeah, he knows they're there, but I know that he says, like, they just assumed that their altered whatever rendered them useless. Like, I know
Apparently
that they
not,
say
though.
that. I know, that's the thing. That's why Rex was like, as soon as he knew that they had them in there, he's about to pull his fucking gun out. Like, he knows, and that's the thing. Like, they literally saw what happened with all the regs when Order 66 happened. So I just thought it was really stupid the whole time that Tech has known these chips were there, and just leave them there. They haven't been a problem yet. Like, I don't know. So I'm glad they finally addressed that they're gonna get them out, but I really don't want it to be a long, drawn out process, and where they're just gonna keep doing this, because obviously the episode ends with they get Wreckers out. Rex leaves, and then Hunter goes back in to obviously get everyone else's chips out of their heads. But then they had those dudes, those like scrapper dudes who are like running the planet. They see Hunter as soon as Rex walks away. So they're obviously going to get ambushed while they're trying to remove somebody else's chip in the next episode, inevitably leading them to not be able to get the chips out of all of them. And I really don't want the show just to be like a race to getting the chips out of their head until they turn. Like that's stupid. Like I don't want that to be the show. I want them to get the chips out of their head and move on, because that kind of goes into like what my only problem with the show is, and that I don't know what the main plot is. Like are we doing the Empire stuff? Or are we doing the Crosshair thing? Is that gonna like
whatever happened to Crosshair?
That's what I'm saying.
It's only been talked about.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know what the show is. So, but I love it so far. I just hope we. I would just like to know where they're going with it more than anything. Like a little clear direction of what the main plot is. What do you guys think of the show overall?
I think it's good so far. There's some episodes that are better than others, and there's always something interesting that happens in every episode, though. And I thought it was interesting. Omega just doesn't have an inhibitor chip, but
I don't see why she would ever need one, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point.
I'm actually just, in the end, more curious as to why she's even a thing.
Yeah. She's obviously playing some role, though, and I guess we'll find out what that role is as time goes on.
Yeah, I wonder why the Camoians made her.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Maybe it was an accident.
You don't just accidentally make somebody.
Just like, oh shit, I was trying to make a pizza and I made a clone.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what? Maybe she's not a clone and she was just an actually grown new person.
Yeah.
And like that's what makes her like different. I don't know. Did you watch it, John? You're muted.
No, I'm not caught up yet. I'm on episode 4, I think.
Oh, so you're a little behind.
And I've liked it so far. It's just I haven't had time to catch up with it yet, I guess. I'm hope I'm not spoiling anything. I mean, you guys are caught up, so I can't be spoiling anything. I saw something online. Did they reference Cal Kestis at some point?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. I saw something online that said this latest episode had some reference about Cal Kestis in it. So I was like, that's intriguing, but apparently that wasn't. See if I can find it.
Nothing that I remember.
Let me look it up.
It was the top search when I started. Star Wars, the Bad Batch sets up Cal Kestis cameo, but will it deliver? I'll throw it over in the Discord real quick.
I got
here.
something pulled up. I don't know if it's the same thing. Let the group to Planet Bracca. Fans of Respawn Entertainment is a new video game familiar. It's the planet. So
okay.
the planet Bracca. Okay, yeah. So it's where when the game starts, that planet that Cal's on is Bracca.
Okay. And that's the planet that they go to in this latest episode?
Yeah. That's the one they're on. So yeah, I don't know if that means they're gonna. I mean, I guess it could. Like, is they're gonna get? Well, here's the thing, though. The difference is that in Fallen Order, well, for one, he wouldn't be the right age. He would still be a kid. Because when Order 66 happened, nevertheless, in Bracca and Jedi Fallen Order, it's under Imperial control. In Bad Batch, it's controlled by some scrappers. Rex says I forget who he says they are, but like there's people all lurking around these crashed ships, and Rex says like, yeah, that's X clan, and they control the planet.
But it could be a younger version of him, correct?
Like it could no, because he doesn't get there until after Order 66. And it's under Imperial control when he's there in the game. right now it's not under Imperial control. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I'm saying like Bad Batch is after Order 66 too, right?
Yeah, but it's like immediately after. It's like during. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Like it happens in the first.
Yeah, because like right
episode.
now, the main thing is like Braca, the planet that he's on in Jedi Fallen Order. It's under Imperial control. Like when
Sure, I
he's there.
understand that. I'm saying like what if he was there while the Imperials came over and took over? Like if this is the planet he went to immediately, like Order 66 happens, he hops on a ship to get away, and the first landing spot he goes to is Braca. Like maybe there's a younger version of him there
There
that
could
they
be.
run into. I don't know.
It's possible.
It was just an interesting headline, and so I was expecting you guys to talk about it, but then I didn't know what, because I hadn't watched the episode. I wasn't sure what they were referencing.
No, there could be, because I mean, this article says he worked there for 3 to 5 years at like one of the riggers that are there, because that's what he's doing when you start playing the game. But
Mhm.
when, like, if I'm remembering correctly, like he was much younger when Order 66 actually happened. Like he was a kid. He was a kid. So like if he was in the show, even if he was on Braca right now, they wouldn't be able to bring in the guy who plays him.
Yeah, would he be Omega's age though?
Yeah.
Would it be like
Yes,
she
yes.
could interact with at her own
100%.
age level?
Yeah, that could
Because I thought
happen.
she's been kind of isolated with these, for lack of a better way to put it, these adults up until this point. So I thought it'd be interesting. But beyond that, the second episode when they try and leave her with the family,
Mhm.
beyond that, she's been kind of isolated from what you guys have said and from what I know. So I kind of thought it would be cool if like a young him and young Cal Kestis and her had some interactions.
Yeah, I mean they could do that because Clone Wars and like these animated shows have been known to like play with stuff. Like I mean, look at Maul for instance. Like all the stuff that
Mhm.
happens with Maul wasn't it never elaborated on in its original source material. So it's definitely possible that he does run into the Bad Batch at some point and like maybe hangs with them for a bit when he was a little kid. Like the Dave Filoni Star Wars universe has never been afraid to like throw in some like extra backstory that doesn't necessarily change anything going forward. Like where we meet Cal Kestis in like Jedi Fallen Order, it wouldn't change anything. If he for a short period of time hung out with the Bad Batch, like not,
Not a reason in Jedi Fallen Order why they would have needed to reference his
yeah,
interactions with the Bad Batch. So
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make anything seem like, well, why didn't the Bad Batch show up to help him take out the first Inquisitor or something, like,
Yeah, exactly. Because especially since that would have been like so many years later, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely possible. I don't know how likely it is, but it'd be weird because especially right now, given Order 66, he'd probably be staying the fuck away from these clones. Like,
Right.
he was like, I don't want any of that. Like, no way. Like, but it'd be kind of cool to see. I still think, if anything, I really want to see like a Cal Kestis and Star Killer show made and cross that shit over. That's what I'm hoping for. It's never gonna happen, but
But
I've said it
but if
since
they
they announced Vader coming back that they could do it.
if they do get Cal Kestis into Bad Batch, then it opens the door for Hot Toys to do a Cal Kestis figure.
True.
We got Jedi Fallen Order 2 coming out though, so I'm hoping they'll
Oh, that's
finally do
true.
one for
That's
that.
true.
Like I was
That's true.
surprised they never did one for Fallen Order, given how successful it was. But I was
And they
just
have an entire video game line of figures that
yeah,
they're doing with like the Batman, the Spider-Man series. So yeah, it
and
was
I would have
surprising they
loved
didn't.
like a second sister like
Yep.
figure. That would have been awesome. And then they could have made another Vader figure. They love making Vader
Yep.
figures. Like, come on. Like, what the hell? It'd be really cool if they made a new Force Unleashed something. Just like remaster it just so they can make a figure out of it. Like, oh man, I'd get me a Star Killer figure if I could, dude. 100%. 100%. I didn't realize this was only on me for right now. But again, with the Hot Toy stuff too, I was telling you, I think it was off camera. Where are these Rebels figures at? Like,
Yeah.
because they announced Bad Batch figures already in the show, like it was like day one of the show. They announced the Bad Batch figures. Or actually, maybe it was before the show because it was during the Star Wars week. I don't know if the show was even out yet for that point. Was
Yeah,
that
it's
7 weeks
the
ago?
show debut. The show debuted on May the 4th.
Yeah. Okay. So that's when they announced the two
Yeah.
figures.
Yep.
Yeah, but I would love a whole set of the Rebels crew, man. And then they had seventh sister, fifth brother, the Darth Maul. Like I could have my fourth Darth Maul figure from the
Right.
Rebel series. Like, come on, and another Vader. They could make another Vader from that. Crazy. Nevertheless, I think the show's great, though. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about Cal Kestis showing up, though. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd like to see like a live action one though, like with the dude, because I feel like since you got the dude, it's just like with Star Killer. Like, just do it because you have Sam Witwer.
Right.
Like, just
Yeah.
like why would you not at that point? Just make it canon, and you can have Sam Witwer in. Vader shows up in Obi-Wan, then you make your Star Killer show. So Hayden can come back and be Vader and have Star Killer, and then he runs into Cal Kestis, and then that's when he turns him to the light side. Cal Kestis turns Star Killer to the light side, and then boom, you got your other series where Star Killer and Cal Kestis go try to kill Vader, and then they lose. Done. There's your show. I want rights to that though, so you can call me Disney. I'm not giving that one for free. Okay, just saying. But guys, the question is, what did you think of Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 7? As I was completely off when I thought it was Episode 5 before. I think it's great. I'm hoping the show just continues to knock it out of the park. I just still want them to just give the main plot. Like they're going in so many different directions, and I don't really know what they're trying to focus on. So I hope that gets a little bit ironed out here at some point in time. And then, what do you think about this potential of Cal Kestis showing up as a young Padawan? I think it's possible with the Braca thing, but I don't know because we don't know how soon he actually got there. In all honesty, like we know he worked there for about 3 to 5 years. He'd be a very young fella, so it's definitely possible, and he would be about Omega's age probably, so it would work out for that bit. So let us know what you think down in the comment section below.